What is up, Sonic movie fans, and welcome to episode 111 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, movie news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here for one heck of a show is Devin.
Quick stretch, little snack, and here we go.
That is from the Sonic movie 2, which we finally got a trailer for at the Game Awards, the Keeleys, which we'll talk about ad nauseum, all about the stuff in there. But yeah, no, that happened a few days ago as the time of this recording and hopefully posting. I'm hopefully going to try to get this up like in an hour or so. Game Awards came out. We knew ahead of time, in between our last episode and this one, we found out our prediction was going to be true. We predicted, at least hopefully predicting, if that makes sense, we would get the Sonic movie and the next Sonic game announced both at the show. And that turned out to be correct. So let's talk about those first before we delve into like our thoughts on the show proper and, you know, the stuff in it. But yeah, do you want to, well, I'll ask you, do you want to start with the movie or the game?
I mean, it's the Sonic movie show, dog. I mean, we got to start with the
game.
movie.
Okay, yeah. So Sonic Frontier, no, Sonic Movie 2, otherwise known as Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But I feel like we should just collectively call it Sonic Movie 2.
Yeah, the title is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Right.
There's no colon after that with a subtitle. It's just Sonic the Hedgehog 2. No Sonic 2, not Sonic Movie 2.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 got a trailer. We had seen, a couple renders, a leaked footage, and a title card, sort of. And then that was it. There was no like teaser. We just got the trailer.
A concept art of Knuckles' hand.
Right, yeah, just like a render. And I have seen also, I think his name is Tyson Heese. I'm sorry, it's probably incorrect. Probably close. One of the main artists there for the movie who's worked on some Sonic stuff in the past, showing off stuff since this trailer has come out. Like showing like a Knuckles type of drawing and whatnot. But yeah, we got the movie trailer. I feel like it is extensive in showing us probably the structure of the film. And
it's 2 minutes.
Why don't you tell me? I don't even know how long it was. I felt like it was just speeding through.
Because Sonic fast.
Exactly. What did you think of the trailer?
Well, first off, I mean, like, up until they like start talking about it on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, we were tweeting it. Like as it was coming out, and also if you followed I think at Sonic Movies, their Twitter account that they were using, and they've been posting a little bit more last couple months, more than they normally have, or like maybe like the past year since the movie came out. So like I thought they did a great job of building it up, because I was getting a hair not like super worried, but like a hair worried that like the longer this goes on, the more I was worried that this movie was going to get delayed for whatever reason, whether it was COVID or there's also with I don't know if there's been workers' strikes in movies in Hollywood, so I wasn't sure if that was affecting this movie, and I would fully support that if that's what happened. But regardless, them having this come out right before the come out for the Game Awards, I think is just the right time. I mean, like if it was any later, I think they would have kind of missed that push. I think this is just the right time. I think they could have done it earlier. They could have done it earlier, but I think this is of
course we would have wanted to see stuff earlier.
Considering the audience, the Game Awards is probably the biggest thing outside of an E3 or any like the showcases that each console
or like Gamescom or
company owns,
random PAX shit. But
yeah, I think this was a good time to do it instead of just dropping it randomly. I think this is the start of we're going to get a big press push.
Yeah, the show is going to be all about this movie probably for the next, how far away is April? 4 months?
Yeah.
Next 4 months. So let's bring it back to the first movie. When we got that first trailer with the bad teeth and stuff, that was May?
Yeah.
4 months after that, June, July, August, September. So this is still closer to the movie than the original movie's supposed marketing plan was. So we're getting it a little later than what the last one was, because we made that prediction before. I'm like, well, if they wanted to do the exact same type of wait till we're about that time, shouldn't it be now? And then it came.
We were thinking November originally. I remember a couple months ago we were like, it's got to be November, or I would start getting a little nervous. And like it's mid-December,
exactly,
it's Christmas time at this point. But I think they did the marketing research and saw that the Game Awards is the best place to do it. Maybe even Jeff Keighley reached out, or vice versa. They reached out at some point in the summer and was like, hey, we want to drop this sooner rather than later, but we're willing to wait if you want to drop during the Game Awards. Maybe Paramount had the leverage here and less Jeff Keighley, or maybe it was the other way around. I have no idea.
I'd like to know how some of this stuff works. If you're Sega, right, you are just your own company. No one owns you, hopefully, for a long time.
Jinx it now.
And, all of your platform partners know you're making a Sonic game. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the fucking world knows you're making a Sonic movie. You have the option to decide where you want to show stuff about these when it comes to it. And I always wanted to know, like, how does it work? Does Jeff Keighley come and say, hey, Sega, the Game Awards is, we're starting to plan it now. It's like August or whenever he starts. Yeah. Can you show something? How do we do what do you want to do? Then when does PlayStation come and says, hey, we could show your next Sonic game at whatever thing we're maybe planning or maybe not, whatever, or Nintendo or Xbox or, I don't know, anyone else like a Gamescom or PAX might reach out like, hey, our attendance is shit because of COVID. We need something to bring people in. Can we have a panel where you show off the movie trailer? All that type of stuff.
Does Jim Carrey want to come sit down and talk for 20 minutes?
And will someone in the audience ask Jim Carrey what his visions of a Carrey Marvel movie relationship look like? And then will he say, we have big news? And then he'll be a tree in the next movie. I always wanted to know how that stuff works. And I don't feel like Sega is probably being like, hey, can we show our thing here? Hey, can we show here? I feel like it's the other way around. We're like, hey, we could just drop this on Twitter and get the same amount of reaction. We don't need the Game Awards to show off the Sonic movie too.
Definitely more so than I think the game. I think the game, if you dropped randomly, maybe you don't get as big hype. Because I think this Sonic
That's
game,
true.
We'll talk about it in a bit, but this Sonic game,
Right.
I think is, we've said it before, this might be someone's first Sonic game.
True.
And there might be people who are our age, maybe never played a Sonic game or played it a long time ago, and they see that gameplay trailer at the Game Awards, and you're like, you know what, that looks cool. I'm going to give that a shot.
It looks
It's a little bit different. They know the Sonic fans are going to buy it. They know
like
the
the
Sonic
others.
fans are going to buy it every single time. They know Sonic
Exactly.
fans are going to come to the movie. But movie marketing is just a different beast than gaming marketing. We know this at this point. Do they intertwine? Yes. Sometimes they have an Unreal Engine demo drop for movies.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I think this was probably the best call for them. I'm sure we're going to get more TV ads, before NFL games or whatever it is on TNT or whatever.
I am expecting one more trailer like this, and then when it gets really close, like hey, it's out next week type of commercial trailer type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm really not expecting them to go hog wild with like teaser trailer 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I'm expecting another one like this with maybe a couple new jokes, a couple more scenes, but basically the same type of thing.
Maybe in like February.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Closer. Actually, that would be February's the halfway point. So sure, February, and then like late March, you start showing off like commercials, being like coming out
15-second
April 22. Yeah. What do we think about the actual trailer? I guess I can start. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was honestly not expecting thinking story-wise, them to do the whole Sonic is using his powers as a vigilante type of thing for a bit. It felt almost like, I don't know, like, hey, I'm here trying to write out this movie. I know what we need to put in it. We need to put Tails and Knuckles, and Jim Carrey's Eggman needs to come back. Chaos Emerald, we're going to bump it up a little bit, right? But how do we what is Sonic doing from then and out? We need something, and it feels to me like vigilante is like the first thing that comes to mind. Might not be the best thing. We'll see in the movie, if that actually fits or sticks, because I mean, like Sonic trying to stop like bank robbers with guns and shit, and like city blowing up, or at least sewage system or something like that, feels like a bigger jump than what I would have expected. But who knows? I will say overall, I feel like the trailer was very well edited. It feels like it's showing shit in pretty much chronological order. I feel like the structure is there, and then obviously
there's like a
after
montage
that, there's
at the
more.
end that is, I think, different, jumps around a little bit, but like generally speaking, like there's three main parts. Beginning is like, the city where he's a vigilante, he gets in trouble. Mr. Wachowski is going to have to do some things to get him out of it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the movie opens up with Sonic and Marsden in the Marsdenverse, as I found out fans call the movie universe, is the Marsdenverse.
That's awesome.
Taking him fishing, and then there we get those city stuff as flashbacks as he's telling him stuff. So we get a catch up on Sonic, and then Eggman comes back. Maybe he comes back violently. Maybe he comes back in secret. Who knows?
I think that big tornado we saw
is him coming back.
Yeah,
because it's like the ending
in
fight.
Montana. There, that is in Green Hills.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure, and I bet you he comes back there, and we see that plane. And I think Tails. That's when Tails is introduced. It all happens within the same 15 minutes. Tails shows up
possibly
to stop
possibly.
Eggman.
I don't know.
Tails is tracking Eggman, knows about it, and then Sonic just happens to be in the town. He's like, "Oh, Eggman's back. I need to save the day." And then they kind of team up there.
I have a feeling though. Instead, I feel like that might be the ending. The tornado might be the ending fight with the green Chaos Emerald energy. What I see as the structure as we check in on Sonic and what he's been up to. Eggman comes back because they show that satellite showing the pod coming back down. I think he just lands and he sets up shop again. He gets our boy with he looks like he's working at a Starbucks now, which is kind of funny that they had one joke from that movie that landed, and they said that's what we're gonna go with now.
Yeah, he's working at his own small end coffee shop, and he's just yelling, "He's back!" I thought that was amazing.
He's all excited, and I'm glad their relationship isn't "You fucking buffoon, get back to work." You know. I think then Sonic does see Eggman, goes after him, and obviously Tails shows up, and then at some point after that, when they think they got the upper hand, Eggman unleashes his ultimate weapon, Knuckles, and then the rest of the movie takes place.
This might be a shot in the dark, maybe. But maybe this isn't chronological, and maybe Eggman gets the Master Emerald in the beginning of the film.
Oh, that's what my thought is.
Tornado
is that he's telling
him coming back. He's literally he has the Master Emerald, has the power to teleport back to wherever he needs to go. It has all this power. He needs how is he going to get back by just a satellite? I mean, probably. No, I think it'd be cool if the beginning is him going through a bunch of booby traps because there's that one.
That's what I think.
With
the thing going past his face
early on.
I think all of that, just like how, in my opinion, Sonic with the City is being told as a story and flashback stuff between two characters talking. Eggman getting the Master Emerald, or Chaos Emerald, perhaps. I think it might be the Chaos Emerald. A Chaos Emerald. Or maybe it's the Master. I don't know.
It's an emerald.
Because remember that synopsis from before just said an emerald, right?
Yeah.
It didn't say Chaos or Master. But if Knuckles is involved, it might be the Master. I think that story, we'll see those scenes of him going through the temple thing as he's talking to our boy there. I forget his name. That's why I keep calling him our boy, our Starbucks guy. I agree. I think he already has
Agent Stone.
Agent Stone. There we go. I think he already has it. But I don't see the tornado being a grand entrance. I feel like if I was Eggman right now, I need to set up a plan before I reveal, hey, I'm doing shit now. You know what I mean?
Unless there is multiple shards of the emerald, or maybe he tries to get it and he's not worthy. He doesn't have the tech or something to hold it, so it breaks into a million pieces. And but he's able to use that one piece to get back to Earth, maybe, or something.
Maybe that's why he needs Knuckles, because he's tricking Knuckles.
Yeah.
So for what purpose, other than just, I can use him to fight Sonic? It's probably could be just that.
Track him. Maybe they all land on Earth or something. I don't know.
So do we want to say for a fact we think it's the Master Emerald or a Chaos Emerald? Because they happen to pick the fucking green one, so of course they look the same.
Yeah. Well, it's the full emeralds. I feel like it can't. It makes me think it's a Master one.
Chaos Emeralds always look like that too. They're just small.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, obviously we played Sonic Adventure, and the Master Emerald is giant.
If it says an emerald in the synopsis, I think it's easier to say it's just one Chaos Emerald and not And do they really want to bring
think
the Master Emerald in the second? I mean, I don't know. Like, if they're trying to
it's
do
weird.
multiple films, I would say you just do a Chaos Emerald, and then you can build up the
Right.
stakes again in a third movie.
Right.
With
Because
a Master Emerald.
without trying to go too crazy about predicting the next movie, I feel like it's probably going to be Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, 100%.
For the third one. And we've talked about that before, at least my predictions on that. We've discussed, Shadow's going to upstage Sonic. I feel like that's when you're going to... Because that's what Shadow's story is, Chaos Control, and he's got the Chaos Emerald, and that's how you can warp and shit. You know what I mean? We're going to get our... If you get all 7, you turn into Goku.
Yeah. I mean, at most, I think in this, besides the fact that they're showing Knuckles early on, they don't want that to be a surprise. They want to hype him up. It's freaking Idris Elba. I still think that they're going to get like one surprise character, whether it's an Amy, a Big the Cat, or a Mech Sonic, whatever you want to call it.
Mecha Sonic or Metal Sonic, either one of the two. I will say this. This is something I realized on like watch through number 4. I don't know how much this matters to studio executives or our director Jeff Fowler or just the creative team behind the movie. Our heroes and villains are all boys, so maybe they will throw in an Amy there so that it's not, maybe to diversify it a little bit. Now, obviously, our humans, it's not all boys besides Eggman and Agent Stone. But like if we're talking about the classic Eggman or Sonic and Eggman characters, you know what I mean? Maybe they thought like, well, okay, we can go a little bit farther. And Amy did come out before Knuckles. She is introduced in Sonic CD, which took place or came out before Sonic 3. So maybe they're thinking, let's get her in there. But I feel like that's another like relationship to mined for gold between, for comedy's sake, between Sonic and Amy, that I don't know if they might feel like they have the time to do all that in one movie when they're already introducing fucking Knuckles.
Yeah, because you don't want a Spider-Man 3
Emeralds.
issue where you have too many characters, no character
Right.
development. Like, I feel like they need to like.
Oh yeah, that's the movie that
need to build
introduced
up
Gwen
Knuckles
Stacy
and Tails.
randomly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I agree with you.
I also want to say that looks like we're getting more of like Maddie's mom back in it, which is going to be funny. I think
Sister.
Was there a sister?
That was her sister. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've seen the movie 1,000 times. I feel like, but still always forget some of the relationships. But it looks like she's gonna be back. That they visit her in some way or form, and I think that's gonna be funny. Looks like they run into a lot of different groups of people. Like it looks like they're wearing all that, which I think is the most adorable thing in this trailer is when they're wearing all the winter clothes.
Yeah,
and they go to that bar and there's like a bunch of just bandit-looking guys, just really tough-looking dudes.
That was my favorite movie part in the trailer.
Yeah.
Favorite moment in the trailer. Yeah, no, it looks like they're definitely going on a globe-trotting adventure, which is my next question. Why? Is it to hunt down Robotnik? Is it to find the other emeralds? Did the emerald shatter? Is it just the multiple Chaos Emeralds? You know what I mean?
On the run.
Like,
They could also be be on the run. Because why? If they're all like, suited up like that, maybe they're trying to stay hidden.
yeah. I mean, so how
There's a lot of
I have the little screenshot in front of me here too that I took from the trailer of Sonic and Tails and like a Christmas story bundled up. My first thought of that is like, well, they need to come in here to get information, but if they come in looking like themselves, it might cause problems, so they need to disguise. I don't know if necessarily on the run, but at the same time, if Eggman is able to do a whole bunch of stuff, he could easily find them and stuff, so that's also a possibility. I do want to point out one thing. I'm just glad Tails and Knuckles, they're wearing shoes, and they got white gloves.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I just want to reiterate that I'm glad that
we need to give a shout out, I think, to the animation team in general. After their first big blunder, right, that they got cyberbullied to oblivion for.
They even made a joke about that at the Game Awards.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz did. But they put in the work. They changed it up. They went into a design that everyone loved, and I think it was one of the reasons why that movie was good. And they've been killing it ever since. Can we just say that? Like, and I think they deserve the applause because, like, they easily. I'm not saying easily, but I think they could we easily could have seen, I think, the upper people, the stakeholders and whatnot could have been like, okay, no, but this time we're not changing anything if no one likes it. But like they've been doing a great job. They stuck with the recipe that what made the first one successful. It looks like Knuckles looks freaking great. Tails looks adorable.
I feel like Tails looks better than Knuckles, but that's because I think they're trying to show a bit more of a tough, almost feral-ish look with Knuckles, with like the quills and stuff.
Yeah.
Tails looks like Tails, but slightly cuter. I do want to just say, to piggyback of what you're saying about committing to the animation style, and maybe this is just a recency bias since the last time I saw the first Sonic movie was for a rewatch in February. I had, since obviously both you and I have that 4K Steelbook, and I haven't even opened it. It's still wrapped, just to keep it, So it might be a recency thing of like, hey, I've seen this trailer a lot sooner, but it looks like the character models have a bit more physicality and just placement. They look like the volume of the CG model looks like it fits in there better than the first movie did. Sonic just looks like he's more there than the first movie did.
Because these movies are only going to be 2 years separated.
Yeah.
In time. So it's not like we had a 10-year gap between these films and there's going to be technological advancements in computer digital shit, right? But honestly, it does look better. So it makes me think that they put a lot more money into this film, which I'm
and they might have had more time to plan it out because, again, that first movie had a different look.
They learned from the first movie, probably like, hey, we could have probably done this better while shooting the film itself.
Right.
Because how much stuff did they have to maybe like retcon and post, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we can't go and shoot this one scene again in Los Angeles or San Francisco, wherever it was. Let's
Vancouver.
Let's do this,
Yeah. I mean, and even when you think about like storyboarding and stuff, like, and I know, granted, it's been 2 years since then, but we know from the leak that they are still doing what they did with the first movie of here is a puppet stand-in thing to sit there for actors to look at and for animators to have a general sense of where the director wanted Sonic to be standing in this scene and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But besides that, this isn't mocap. Like, maybe they did for some facial stuff for the mouths. Maybe they had Ben Schwartz, animate out Sonic's face when talking. But I don't even know. I think it is just fully animated stuff. And the fact that it looks better than that first movie, at least in this trailer, I feel like speaks a little bit more volume than what I was expecting this movie's trailer to impact me.
And also, we gotta remember the first movie, it was the first big movie for a lot of people in that crew. Like Jeff Fowler, that was Jeff Fowler's first movie. The team that he had, I think, remember when we were researching, was like one of their first big movies. I think I remember they did a little bit of Cats, and then they did a couple other like small movies, like digital shorts and whatnot, that Jeff Fowler directed. But like generally speaking, this was their first like...
Yeah, because like the writers, this was their first one or something like that too. Yeah, the writers too.
So everyone's like had their... to see what they did and didn't do right, you know what I mean, in the first movie. And it just seems that they're building off of it, and it looks like this trailer actually like got me hyped. And I know like I'm not doing that for like the meme. Like I know that sometimes maybe we joke about like,
oh my god,
we gotta watch
yeah.
No, but like I was like watching it and I'm like, this is like I'm like actually excited about this. I'm happy. Like that, like we said, that one scene when they're wearing all the snow gear, open the door, I'm like,
adorable.
That's freaking adorable. And y'all are
like, I want to pick Tails up and walk home with him.
Exactly.
Type of thing.
Yeah. And like I felt like everyone was delivering lines in that, like I'm not saying anyone was bad in the first movie, but just like it just seemed that the writings looks like it sounds like it's going to be better. Everyone seems to be bringing their A game,
Looks like they're having more fun too with some sequences. It looks like there is a scene. I can't tell if it's in a temple of some sort or just in some sort of hallway, but Sonic is running through and bouncing off enemies. It looks more like an actual Sonic level type of action you might see. So it looks like they're having more fun there as well. And I will say that the thing that got me the most hype starts with that scene of him pinballing through this hallway, is they're playing Emerald Hill Zone's music, like an orchestrated, like
I
new
didn't even
arrangement of
realize
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, first level of Sonic 2, of the game Sonic 2, which stars Tails, obviously. And then they play it at the end too, and I'm like, that was my get hype thing of like, yeah, all right, I am excited for this movie. They definitely didn't do a bad trailer.
Yeah, I think it's the best
Honestly,
trailer out
like-
of all the stuff we've gotten. Even after, hot take maybe, even after they redid the design of Sonic.
I don't even remember what that trailer looked like.
I think
to
it
be
was a
honest.
very similar trailer. There was some new scenes added, but like that was like, oh shit, the design's changed. They're actually doing it. You know what I mean? Like that whole hype. I think this is more hype than that. That might be a hot take.
No, I agree with you. I feel like this is definitely like an okay. We have a second movie now. I like this trailer quite a bit. I feel like we could sit and dissect every little bit if we really wanted to, but I just want to ask you, is there any points in this trailer that really stood out to you that made you think like, huh? Or like we could talk about Knuckles in a bit too if you want, but like, is there any parts in this trailer that makes you think, oh, I didn't expect this element, or like I said, my thing about the Sonic Vigilante type of stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
But for you, did anything stick out to you that's like, oh, I didn't expect this in the sequel?
I think I tweeted this with our SMS account, like in a reply to someone. I don't remember who it was, and this is just taking from the trailer, so it might not be as a broad thing. And something like that I was shocked about, more of just like maybe something I felt like they learned things from the first movie. I felt that Dr. Robotnik's scenes in the trailer, like the shot selection that they used, at least in these scenes they showed in this trailer, made him look more evil and sinister, but also like powerful. Because I felt like there was moments in the first movie where I think they used dialogue to tell you like this guy's smart, right? He's in charge. He'll force his way into being in charge, right? And maybe it didn't deliver the same level of what they were trying to do. In this, it felt like, no, Robotnik knows this shit, and he's
got a plan of some sort.
Yeah, and like he was shooting missiles and stuff, and he was doing it very dramatically, and it seemed like he was enjoying it, being evil. So I think this has to go give credit to Jim Carrey, but also like to the shot selection in that trailer. At least it made me feel like, okay, Robotnik's going to be a badass in this film. I'm hoping for that, because I think
the stash obviously
adds to it. But
he's got a much more Eggman looking outfit going on now. I still like the goggles though, even though that's not an Eggman type of thing. I still like that he's got them in at least some of the stuff. One thing I did notice too, there's a scene where he, I think, comes out of the satellite. But it doesn't really make too much sense because surrounding it is a bunch of his robots, his badniks. And there's only two types, it looks like. The ones from the first movie, and then very clearly the ones inspired by the Wasp giant bee enemies from Sonic 1. And I think they're also in Sonic 2 as well. But they all still look that same uniform, glossy, white type of look. I
almost Tesla-like.
Kind of hoped. Yeah, I kind of hoped that they moved beyond that, like... When I saw the trailers for the first movie and the first movie itself, seeing Eggman's his gear, his tech, his badniks, besides the fact that Badnik is written on the power breaker, electrical box in his van, his truck or whatever, they are just his robots, his machines, and they didn't really look like Sonic enemies. They looked very much like if we were making a movie and we wanted, to be taken seriously, but also be a little cool, that's what we would do. And I was kind of disappointed that it's still like that, though. Like, I get it, like, it'd be weird to make one look and be painted like a ladybug, but, like, he's also crazier now. Maybe you can go with it, or, like, like they have the Wasp-looking ones, paint it black and yellow. Give it eyeballs. You know what I mean? Like, just take that one more step, and maybe they go there in the movie. I don't know. Very clearly we can see in between the first and second movie with that post-credit scene with Eggman that they retweeted out before the show to be like, I'm coming home for Christmas. He's gone crazier. So I kind of want to see more of that in his designs. Maybe the idea of making a bee-shaped robot is a step in that direction, but I hope they just go crazier and like
keep going throughout
because
the film.
My question for you, will this movie's big climactic fight be they just fight Eggman in his pod and he's got shit going on? Or is it going to be some sort of secret metal Sonic thing we didn't see in the trailers or teased about? Or will it be Sonic 2's final boss, which is a giant Eggman robot that's kind of humanoid, has got his face on it, the giant mustache, and he sits in the thing and he goes. A giant mech. Like, I'm hoping it's that, but is that too crazy for what they still want to do? Is that in the tornado? you know?
Yeah. And they're trying to hide it in
maybe,
the tornado.
Maybe the chaos energy makes it big. Maybe he made it small and it's bigger now, or I don't know, and that's what the tornado is. Because if it's just a fucking tornado, how does Sonic stop that? You can't really... How do you have Sonic stop that?
Sonic goes faster and makes his own tornado.
In reverse.
Yeah. Or reverses
Kinda
the
like
tornado.
You know how like Superman
I don't know if it worked that way.
Can fly around the world in reverse fast enough to go back in time or whatever. You know?
Oh my god!
It's like that's what Sonic does with the tornado. Yeah, what do you think our final climactic fight will be now that we've had more context? I think it's all
any of the ones that you just said. Really, I mean,
I hope it's not the first one though. I don't want it to just be like that first movie where he's just in his pod.
Yeah,
and shooting rockets.
But I don't. I think I have the fact that they showed them traveling makes me think that at the very least we're going to get new settings, because that was our one worry that we've done an episode or maybe 2 episodes about, of like what would be our worries about a Sonic sequel, is them playing it, because they played it safe in the first one, but rightfully so considering Sonic's history.
Fair.
So I think they did it safe there, but I think they can branch out a little bit, and it looks like they are branching out of it. But I also don't want a Spider-Man 3 thing. We're like, okay,
there's too much.
There's too much going on. So I think I would do more of a like it's a he fights a mech, like in a giant a giant Pacific Rim robot.
Exactly. Maybe him and Agent Stone, they're both Jaegering it together.
Dude, if they did that'd make my fucking day.
That'd be great, because I feel like that movie came and went and died and was forgotten. I don't even think it's even possible to reference that movie and be recognized, you know?
I mean, I would appreciate
unfortunately.
it.
I liked that movie.
I didn't even see
Only
the sequel.
saw it once. I never saw the sequel with John Boyega. Never saw the sequel. Because I'm like...
That also got killed in the theaters.
Oh, for sure. That sequel looked like it also came and went, but like it looked like it had nothing to do with the first one, besides like it be possibly set in the same world. Like they didn't even get any of those characters back. It didn't look like.
Yeah.
Any case. Yeah.
Just do it Gundam style, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always loved in Gundam, at least in the ones I had seen. I don't know if there's multiple different series like Power Rangers or something where it's operated differently, but like this black inky goop pot like is all around like their limbs and stuff. That's how they can control it or whatever. There is an anime where two people have to pilot a giant mech, and it always has to be a guy and a girl, and it always has to be in doggy style.
Normal.
Literally. So very weird. Anime. I hope Sonic doesn't go that route.
Get in the Ava, Agent Stone. Like Sonic maybe friends Agent Stone halfway through, and then gotta fight a mech, but the only way you can kill the mech is you gotta kill Agent Stone.
I do just want to say one last thing about this movie that worries me, and it's how do I want to put this nicely? Infringement on other people's property. So I watched this trailer, and I'm excited, and I'm seeing cool stuff in it. And then they show Eggman finding the emerald, and it's our fucking logo.
Oh my God.
And I'm just so confused as to this pink emerald with our... No, the joke is ending. I don't know how to end this joke. It's done.
I was going to say, you should have mentioned that when we first talked about the emerald. Well, we could start it there and like just lie the entire time.
Whatever.
Yeah, please appreciate our meme on our Twitter account where it's Jim Carrey finding the Sonic movie show.
Exactly.
We're actually trapped in there. Please help.
Exactly. Maybe that's why he might possibly break it into pieces to set us free.
Will say, yeah, he's actually helping us out here.
But is it like one of those things where if you break the lamp that contains the genie, you accidentally kill the genie? You think you're freeing them, but you're not. Maybe we're dead in this movie. I feel like we've talked enough about this movie's trailer.
We probably will do an episode like breaking it down, let's say scene by scene or something to that effect later on.
Especially if more information comes out, we find people talking about online, because there's a couple Jeff Fowler interviews and stuff we can maybe talk about in the future as well.
There's going to be a lot of press.
Exactly.
We're going to get some Ben Schwartz interviews. We're going to get some Jim Carrey interviews.
Idris Elba killed it in the one line he said.
He still made it sexy. You know, he said he wouldn't. Still made it sexy.
Sure. I don't necessarily agree, honestly, but sure.
You weren't turned on?
I'm glad people found the red echidna attractive.
I mean,
you know what else I find attractive?
Voice attractive, but yeah.
Yes, I assume that's what it was. You know what else is what I assumed it was our predictions being 100% correct, quite literally 100% correct about Sonic Frontiers, the video game that was announced during the Game Awards. We had predicted essentially.
It was not even just a prediction. It was more of like, can you please do this?
Yeah, but it was also like, well, if we are told that they're going with a giant new direction, and we're told, this and that, here's what we think is possible, but in ways we would like, if that makes sense. We, on a previous episode of the Sonic Movie Show, we had predicted open area Sonic game, islands, the idea of levels being integrated in just the world you're in. There is no level start and end. They are more like challenges. They bring you in and out type of thing. The trailer for Sonic Frontiers, and I will talk about its very similarities to another type of video game. It didn't show any voice acting by any of the characters besides some weird mysterious voice in Sonic's head.
Who do you think that is, by the way? Because I've seen
it sounded like Tails, but it could also just be a random woman.
Someone said, "Oh no, it's definitely Amy," and I'm like, "It's not definitely Amy."
It could be.
I don't know if anyone has confirmed it, but if someone has, please let us know. But I
feel like it's going to be an original character,
or it's the girl. It's his wife from Sonic 06.
Tails' wife. Oh yeah. Fun thing about Sonic 06. There's a point where you're asked question and answer as Sonic. I don't know what the actual question was, but essentially to pick one, Amy or that woman. And I picked Amy, and it literally told me that was the wrong answer. I'm like, okay. I guess we're moving on. I'm like, but whatever. There is this digital type of effect going on when Sonic was running, as well as how they showed the title, which makes me think it's in a computer program. I think it's an original computer character in Sonic's head talking to him. But I will say, and this is an open zone Sonic game. There's multiple islands. It looks like there are towers and other sorts of very clearly level type of structures that you go and do stuff with, but it's all just in an open area. This trailer 100% is just The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, down to how it's paced, down to the fact that Sonic is being chased by some unknown ultra-powerful enemy, the panning shots of empty wilderness accompanied by soft piano and light orchestra music, the kind of just look at structures and this and that, and even just how the world is set up.
Literally, there is a shot. And I've only played like a couple hours of Breath of the Wild that you let me play one time. Literally, I've seen trailers for all the Zelda trailers that we saw hyping up for that game, and then the freaking sequel, right? All the Game Awards have passed and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's literally a shot in this trailer where Sonic is sitting on a like ruined rock, looking over a valley of towers and stuff that's looks exactly like Zelda.
That's the box art for Zelda. That's the fucking box art. Is he's overlooking? Yeah, that's how the game opens. Yeah, no, and then because here's the thing,
which is fine.
Last Sonic game,
that's not a shot.
And
it's like
I'm going to tell you why
works,
I think this is a good thing. I beat Breath of the Wild. I did all of the main things in there. I did all the collectibles. There is a collectible set in there that is designed to not be completed. There's 900 of these little seeds hidden in the world. You're meant to find like 120 or something like that. But they're so numerous that it doesn't feel like you're actually having to hunt, that you find little things. And besides that, I did everything in that game. Came out with DLC, did all the DLC. The reward for doing all the DLC was a fucking motorcycle. Legitimately, you get a motorcycle in that game after you do the DLC. And what I did after that was I just fucking rode that motorcycle through the world, trying to go as fast as I can, trying to do crazy stuff, trying to not have to stop, trying to weave in and out. It's legit how I expect this game to be like, feeling like having
the
fun, just
time,
running through that world. That's what I want to do in a game like this giant open-ended world, is to run through it. The last Sonic game that Sonic Team made was Sonic Forces, which came out in 2017.
Great year.
Breath of the Wild came out several months before that, but still set in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And the way a lot of Japanese studios and creatives operate, especially if they are working with a single franchise over and over again, and Zelda does this, that team does this, they look at what the conversation is going like when their game comes out. Sonic Forces comes out, they are looking at what the landscape is like, and they are deciding right then and there what to do next. You know what I mean? It's 4.5 years removed since Zelda, about 4 years since Sonic Forces. We've had all this time to ruminate. They have looked at that type of gameplay, and they said, let's do that too. 100%. Zelda has done that with, like, our previous game came out, no one liked blah, 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 blah. What if we changed it up? Boom, Breath of the Wild. Conversations about that game are like, man, it looked like it was Zelda you were playing as in that first trailer. What if, it'd be real nice if we could fucking play as Zelda. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 very clearly looks like it's a 2-player co-op, or you have both Link and Zelda throughout the game. Like, that's how a lot of these companies, and Japanese companies, they kind of operate like that. So it's very obvious the inspiration for this Sonic game. I don't think it's a bad inspiration. I feel like, to quote someone I saw on Twitter, Sonic Breath of the Wild is either the greatest thing or the worst thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've said this many of times, that we want them to be bold and try something different, and hopefully they just execute on that. And so far, they hit on the things that we wanted. We wanted a more open world Sonic game where you don't have to go to a stage select. You don't have to do that. You physically go to it. And maybe there's puzzles that you unlock to open new areas, maybe, or something to that effect. Maybe you meet new characters that help you get new things so you can go to new areas. But generally speaking, we wanted a place where there's just like maybe a main island or hub, and you just go around. You run fast,
right?
Even like Spider-Man. It's fun to swing around. There's a fast travel, but
no reason to use it, because
yeah,
the act of moving is why you're playing.
Yeah, it's fun.
I will say this, this is just dawning on me now. I have not played this game, but I've seen some reviews about it. Halo Infinite took a level-based, gameplay type with the shooting elements. It's 30 seconds of fun. It's instanced type of encounters in its design, and did that in an open world. It was evolutionary in what they have done before, but also completely new. And it was a success for them. So it appears, for its its campaign or whatever. This looks like they're trying to do the same thing of like, all right, where is the fun in these levels? Like, what is the fun of the structure of a Sonic game? What if we take stuff out of that and replace the structure with something new? Where does the fun sit? If we made an open world Sonic, where is the fun? So it looks like they're doing something like Zelda did, where Zelda had 120 shrines that were these challenges, whether they be combat or puzzle or, any kind of mixture of the two. Dotted throughout the landscape, you go inside, you do the thing. It looks like that type of stuff is in this Sonic game, where like, here is a tower that very clearly looks like you run up the tower.
Yeah.
I don't know how quick that is. I don't know what. Maybe you go inside and there's a cavern, or it's quite literally just the shrine elements of you go through a door and now you're in a mini level, so to speak. It looks like that, combined with just, well, what if Sonic had just an open world to run through? How do we make that fun? Which I am excited for, honestly. This is the first Sonic game in like 20 years that I have been this excited for something, just because of the potential of it.
Yeah, I mean, this even reminds me too of God of War a little bit too, which I liked, and also took inspiration from Breath of the Wild in the sense that, hey, there's no like loading screens. It's more of a you have to find dungeons to crawl through. There is a general path for the story that will lead you. You can just do that, but there's plenty of places you can go and figure out, through puzzles, or maybe you unlock that weapon now, or you unlock this magic item that can open this thing. So now you can go back and get a new weapon of some sort. Not saying Sonic's going to get weapons and whatnot, but I think there's going to be some magic involved, and there's going to be reasons for us to either maybe replay levels instead of just go faster, because that gets old. Even if you love those type of challenges of go faster, like even in Mario Kart, I've done the time trials, right? You do it once or twice, and you're like, okay,
yeah.
I've done racing games with that, and I'm like, can't do it once or twice, I'm good.
What
Never really have any interest in Sonic
recently
besides
I was
get all the collectibles. But this, be like, there's one level that you encounter early on, and you see that there's a door that you can't get through, but maybe you get an item halfway through the game, and you're like, oh, that uses to open this door. Now I can go back, and I should be better at the game now at that point. So it's stuff like that. I hope there's
I wonder, though, if... So what you're explaining with the God of War is a classic Zelda type of, dungeons and getting new gear and abilities and powers as you go through the game. You can backtrack to things that are very Metroidvania type of thing of I don't know how to break this block. I can't. I get thing later lets me break this block. I now remember. And then if the game is designed smartly, there's a lot of subconscious things of I always love, there's a section in Super Metroid where there is a ledge that's too high for you to jump up to get on top. But the ledge and the ceiling above it is shaped like a giant monster's face. You'll remember that. And then when you get to jump higher, you'll be like, I'm going to go back there because I remembered that. That was designed well. Breath of the Wild was interesting in that it gives you all of your powers at the beginning. So you can go anywhere and do anything in any order because you're not gaining anything at one point that you need to do the other thing. So I'm wondering if Sonic will do something like that as well, or will you get powers? Because very clearly he gets that digital running thing. He was able to run faster in that trailer. I don't know if that's a sign of anything or just an effect that they're doing for the sake of the story. But if he's in a digital world, which I swear this is what it is, they have free reign to give him superpowers. Kind of like how Sonic Colors introduced new abilities for brief stints of time.
Well, I'm saying
perhaps
something like a spin
something
dash
like that
maybe
as
he
well.
doesn't get until he does a specific thing.
Could be. Yeah.
There's areas that you can only get to if you turn into a ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an easy one.
It's there's been
maybe he can only go up that tower as a ball.
Yeah, maybe
As an example.
Maybe he needs magnet shoes or something to run up. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe he needs lightweight shoes because the rocks to go up there could crumble or something. He won't make it if he doesn't do it that way. So he has to get a certain pair of sneakers that are only hidden in
or it slows down
somewhere.
Time so he's able to go through the crumble areas faster than it would break.
And that stuff's been done before in Mario and whatnot, but I think that's okay to take those.
Sure. Again, it's Sega, steal everything you want. As long as you make a good game, you know what I mean? Maybe after a few good games in a row, we'll start to penalize you for stealing.
We're just trying to get you your first big W.
But just get to it. You know what I mean? It's okay
honestly,
to cheat off the test.
This is coming out, it says holiday 2022, so I don't know if that means November or December, Thanksgiving or Black Friday or Christmas, whatever. Regardless, I want the Game Awards 2023. I want Sonic to be nominated for something. I want this game to be nominated. That's not my expectation, but that's
Best
a
action,
hope.
Best action adventure, maybe.
Something,
yeah.
And if you have to steal ideas to do it, like I said, we don't really care. We just want it to be fun.
What I find is hilarious, too, is that this game isn't going to be on Switch, and they very clearly copied the Switch launch title. Now, what is this game, is both current and last-gen PlayStations and Xboxes, and PC, I think it said. So we're clearly not going to get, the SSD implementing as much as it could be, but,
Our wish list that we got.
At the same time, you know what this also tells me? Well, if this game is going to be on a base Xbox One, and it's also going to be on my PS5, there's going to be a 60 FPS mode, and I'm at least happy about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm at least happy we're gonna.
Did it say PC? I mean, assuming if it's on Xbox, it's going to have a PC port with Game Pass or something.
PC. I think it's PC. It definitely said Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5. Let's get to the official site here. Ooh, I'm going to post you this site because I think it's interesting. I accept the cookies.
Right here, holiday. Yeah, it says PC.
Yep, it says PC.
Okay.
Oh, it also says Nintendo Switch. I take that fucking back.
Interesting.
Wow, it is on Switch. Well, that makes me slightly less excited now, the potential scope, but...
Yeah.
Potentially.
Some of these screenshots look really nice, like the flowers and whatnot.
Yeah.
My only concern, though, was seeing this, and this once again, when they have a whole full year, what do enemies look like? Are there enemies?
Yeah,
it also kind of seems at hair empty. Like,
yeah,
the ruins look nice and all that. We know he runs away from something in like the cinematic part of the trailer, but this felt like this trailer in terms of like what it was showing felt a lot like what Death Stranding was showing in its first gameplay trailer,
sure.
where it's just
for sure.
But it looked cool, but it was just him like climbing rocks.
Another game inspired by Zelda, but took a different direction. I want to read this blurb it has on the site here. An experience like never before. Accelerate to new heights and experience the thrill of high-velocity, open-zone freedom. Battle powerful enemies as you speed through the Starfall Islands, landscapes brimming with dense forests, overflowing waterfalls, sizzling deserts, and more. This holiday 2022, speed into new realms.
Maybe there's even multiple, like these screenshots we're seing is just one realm. Because God of War had multiple realms. Some of them obviously weren't.
For sure. I mean, if they say
big.
Deserts, I don't see any deserts.
Like each realm is a little bit smaller than the main hub, but still.
I wonder if there's a hub. My thinking. So we talked about Breath of the Wild gives you all your powers at the beginning. If they're doing different islands, perhaps it's something like you need to do all this stuff on this island before you get to move on to the next one. Then that's how you can give new powers and stuff, while still letting you explore any way you want. You know what I mean? As opposed to one gigantic place, it's potentially, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller ones. Mm. But it still has that, well, you come into this island with everything you need. And when you're finished the island, you get something, some power or whatever, you get to the next island, and you can explore any way you want. Do everything, move on to the third one.
Also,
perhaps
quick thing as I'm looking at these screenshots, just trying to like look for anything to see maybe we missed something. Day and night cycles.
True,
because it shows the same screenshot of this weird broken pyramid looking thing with like arch ruins that were broken down, and one of them is in the morning, looks like early morning, and one looks like it's the sun setting.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like there's like almost bounce pads, or just maybe not bounce pads, but just like platforms like into the rock and whatnot, like these like red rings. And there's your bridge there on the not your bridge, your satellite tower, your Seattle tower there, Sea Needle.
You can clearly see like loops and shit in there. Yeah. I see your red platforms in the background. Yeah. What if that is the Space Needle? Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's fucking Seattle. See, they're inspired by Last of Us.
Well, even infamous Second Son took place in Seattle.
Seattle's a good rainy place to do like that kind of.
Wait a second. All right,
game.
I'm gonna do the thing they did with the Zelda. You can see. So in the screenshot of your pyramid thing that you were talking about, that's sunny, that's close up. You can see in the lower left 2 red circular thingies.
Saw that.
In your Space Needle picture, you can see 2 red circular thingies off to the left. Are those the same too?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm excited. I'm like legitimately like,
yeah.
I wish it wasn't holiday. I wish it was like March.
That's fine. I'd rather once again we said take their time. Take the
time, but like, man, you're showing me something I'm excited about. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Anything about this trailer that you want to say?
We've
have
forgot
thoughts
to talk about the giant monster. literally from
Oh, yeah.
that one game. What's it called? What's that game called?
What's
From
that game
PS3 era, Shadows of the Colossus.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
that kind of vibe.
This game is Sonic of the Colossus. Well, because that's okay. So another thing too, Shadow of the Colossus very much also inspired a lot of some of the indie games you see coming out today that are in 3D open worlds, and in a sense, Breath of the Wild and the games that are now inspired by Breath of the Wild. A very large, open, beautiful, not populated with a lot of things to do, if anything at all. And then, yeah, if this game has essentially the Colossus stuff wandering around that you can tackle in any way you want, that's dope. Because Zelda had 4 of them. I asked you, anything that sticks out for you for this game. Are you as hyped as me? Are you excited? It's on consoles you own.
I know.
You have no excuse now.
I think I'm going to play this game on PC. Like right now, unless like there's some sort of bonus feature, like you said, in a 60 FPS mode. But like, if I can turn that on PC, I'm just going to do that. You know.
Okay.
Also depends on whether or not I have a next gen console at that point. So there's a lot of ifs there, but like generally speaking, yeah, this looks cool. And I'm curious how long this game is. I don't know if I want it to be a big long game, because I'm the person who doesn't have that kind of time. I like a good like 10 to 30 hour game. I'm totally like okay with that and paying full price for that if the quality like for that 30 hours is good, right? I mean, I'm just happy that they're doing something bold, and it is more interesting to me. I have some concerns. Like I said, it feels a little empty, but I know it's still early on, the whole year of time to add to this. It is very Breath of the Wild, which is fine. I'm not like, yes, fucking go this direction. I'm more of just like, cool, this is kind of what we wanted. I wish maybe the color palette was a little more Sonic-y, because it does feel much closer to Breath of the Wild in terms of just like the greens and the blues. And I understand Sonic kind of has a similar color palette, but I was like, they could have made it a little more cartoony. Maybe it will be. Maybe this is just one area. Maybe the desert area will be more cartoony, But
yeah, I'm interested.
But these are all nitpicks, really. I'm excited to see more. Hopefully, we get a full gameplay trailer. Maybe I'm hoping like Sega does something just like where they talk about this for 30 minutes, and it's just like, I think they did this for Breath of the Wild, like early on. Didn't they do like a whole like at the Game Awards or something?
Their E3 was only about that game.
Yeah, where they had like
they
a
spent
dude
their
playing
entire
it
thing
on the
talking
couch,
about
right?
it.
And then had a
Yep.
guy like commentating, like, "Oh, go over there so we can show them this."
Yep,
do that
exactly.
with this game, because that would tell me that like there's a lot of content here,
that they're confident as well,
and confident as well. That they're like, "Hey, look at this." If they don't show like anything as bold as this is, and we appreciate how bold that it looks like they're doing, but if we don't see like anything besides like, or if we just see like a gameplay trailer and it just looks then I'm going to be nervous we're getting a Sonic Forces of shit tier.
Just a hit and run.
Yeah.
Buy and forget, please. Yeah, but this is what excites me, because this feels like, when we talk about the Sonic series and potentially the games that we want to do giant deep dives of, I'm at least looking at the giant milestone Sonic games. Besides the first Sonic game, I feel like there's only like a couple. Sonic 1, Sonic Adventure, Sonic 06, and then maybe something in between then and now. The last time Sonic had a giant shake-up was 06. And you could argue how big of the shake-up was that, but I feel like the fact that they called it Sonic the Hedgehog and made it a very serious story is a shake-up in and of itself. This is the first one since then of any magnitude that isn't an evolution of something they've already had. So even if they fuck this up, this is the most interesting Sonic game to come out in 15 years.
Since we were 10. Practically.
I just think Sonic 06 was...
I also will say, this is
15
probably
years ago.
the closest thing we're going to get to a Sonic Adventure 3. Anytime soon. Folks.
Oh, in terms of, like, your hub areas and running around and stuff?
So don't,
Okay.
like, if y'all are... This is Sonic Adventure 3. This is your Sonic Adventure 3. Sorry.
Well, it also has a writer from the comic books, so...
Yeah. But no, I will say I think I'm more hyped for the movie just because it's closer, and I'm much more of a movie guy than a video game guy, and that's okay. If anything, the Sonic movie stock is booming right now. It is going, but keep holding, because don't sell now. We're only going up from here. And for this, maybe buy now. Start buying now, because then the investments might pay off. But watch out for those gameplay trailers. Watch out for those gameplay trailers in next summer, okay? Because then maybe you do have to sell. I'm still like, as appreciative as of like I said, this is bold. I'm just a little, we just know their history. We know their history. So I'm just cautiously optimistic and a little bit hyped. I'm buying now. Buying, we're also getting ready to sell if I have to. That's where I'm at with this. When the movie, I'm like, no, I'm buying. I
don't think you can sell a game you haven't bought yet.
I bought more stock in the Sonic movie. And I keep buying more stock because I'm that hyped. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Nice. All right, so both these things are shown off at the Game Awards.
What's that?
And it is a yearly thing that is mostly advertisements and commercials, but inevitably releases
Somehow I think the
information
Game Awards
on
has
new video
more
games.
commercials than like an NFL game. I was thinking about this because the NFL games usually
Oh,
go
man.
on, including commercials, 3.5 hours. And like someone's done the math, the average football game itself, like the play, what you watching is like an hour. Is like an hour.
Yeah. Lots of stops and starts.
Yeah.
Lots of stops and starts.
And I'm like watching the Game Awards and I'm like, I think this show easily could be an hour. If you take out like
less.
If you take out all the PUBG mobile ads.
Or, yeah.
I saw like 3.
Yep.
And Fortnite. Any Battle Royale ad you saw, if you took that out.
The thing is, the Game Awards are 3 different things. There are awards being, presented. We see things about nominees, and they announce a winner. Sometimes it is rapid fire. Sometimes it's Forza Horizon 5 won best accessibility and innovation and accessibility. And then as the person's walking up, the PA lady will say, it also won best sports racing game. So did you catch that as well?
Yeah.
And then they'll rapid fire through like 5 of them. Then they'll for ones they feel are big. I don't know why best RPG isn't up there, but best action game was or whatever. How do they decide that?
I was more shocked that one of the guys admitted that like, oh, we only get 30 seconds to speak. And like that, especially for like these big awards, like I think they should give him a minute.
Yeah, you can also see
seconds?
Jeff Keighley is speed running through his script whenever possible.
Yeah.
But there's awards, there's trailers, and then there's actual commercials. The commercials, I'm tired about. I get it. Like, they need time to put the Elden Ring pot thing off stage.
They need the whole entourage of the violinists to go up and get ready and get their stands and all that.
They need that time. I feel like you could do that during a world premiere, but at the same time, you're blocking the view of the people in the audience, and there's a balance, I'm sure. They also need to afford to pay the show. I get that as well. But to me, any award show that spends more time showing you stuff that you can buy right now that aren't getting any nominations, if you spend more time doing those than actually celebrating the things that are nominated and winning these awards, it's a failure. It's like this every single year. I mean, like, their reveals themselves are always cool. I don't want to be one of those people that says, get rid of those, just have the awards. I feel like it's more respectable if you do, for sure. But at the same time, the video game industry is so much about hype and surprise reveals and secrets that get unveiled in cool moments that feel almost bigger than sometimes the games themselves. I get that you need to keep them in there, but you need to be able to show for every single fucking nomination the thing. They have a category called best original score, or best music, essentially. And they don't play the musics for the things that are being nominated.
But they did for the Game of the Year.
They did for that. But you don't mention the people that composed the music. You know what I mean? You have best art direction. Who are your art directors? You didn't mention those people. You know what I mean? Actually celebrate and respect these. The things that you're supposedly excited to give awards to.
I thought last year's was better, by the way. By a lot.
Interesting.
I actually dug that last year was all virtual, remember, because it was COVID. And
true.
it just felt more cohesive. And I get it, like it basically was like a TV show in the sense that okay, the guy has to go to camera 1 and camera 2. Sometimes it doesn't, link up every time, and I'll let those things slide. It happens.
It's tough to
be perfect.
to make that happen.
Yeah. And I maybe that's why maybe I liked the one last year because it felt so cohesive from start to finish, where nothing felt jarring. There's a lot of jarringness I felt in this one with like a lot of the PUBG mobile ads I was joking about. Where I couldn't tell sometimes when it was like world reveal and all of a sudden it was commercial and I'm like, oh, okay, and like it was like commercial for 2 minutes of. I thought it was like either like an add-on to whatever it just showed or something else, like another world premiere. And, it wasn't. It was a little jarring at moments. And like you said, Jeff Keighley was like rushing at parts. And
oh my god, he was.
I will say this: I
going for a personal best.
Overall, like I feel like it's only gotten better every year, except for this year. I think is the first year where I felt like it. And I think maybe because coming back to a more hybrid model, like it was in years past, with an And I think part of it, I wonder if it has something to do with Prime Gaming, them being on Twitch, and maybe they had to say in how much advertisements they had to show and how they showed them. How many people couldn't make it still because of COVID and international travel and whatnot. And like, because half the people, the big people that they usually are there, like Kojima or whatnot, weren't there. They were doing a virtual video call for 30 seconds, or a video. Let's be real, it wasn't a call. 30 seconds, and then that was it. And that's cool, but I mean, it isn't the same effect. It's not the same as Keanu Reeves popping out during Cyberpunk. Like people are hyped for that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And that was at Xbox's game or Xbox's E3 though. Well, he did show up at the Game Awards again anyway, right?
I thought he did. Remember. Someone did, but still, like they would have.
You could see the branding. It's more subtle than the Schick Hydrobot and the Doritos and Mountain Dew.
I'm glad they've gone away from that.
It's more subtle, but it still feels just as seedy of like, sponsored by Prime Gaming. So then when, what's his name? I think it's Simu Liu, Shang-Chi from that Marvel movie, comes out to present Best Action Game, and he's talking about watching Halo streams on Twitch on his phone then and there. That felt like that was, all right, we need to talk about Twitch. Let's try to integrate it a little bit. How do people talk about these services?
Also,
it felt natural.
It kind of sounded like, hey, don't take this award seriously because I'd rather be watching people play Halo right now.
Which is not nominated for Best Action Game.
Yeah, had nothing to do with that.
So let's talk about Halo.
Jeff Keighley at one point was like, Halo just came out, and I can't wait to go home this weekend to play it. And it's like, I love Halo. I'm glad it's out. But like, it seemed like, oh, we know you all want to really play Halo right now instead of being here. And I like it just kind of came off as like, hey, don't take this too seriously, but also like take it seriously. And I feel like they've always had that energy issue overall is like, hey, take this seriously. But yeah, we don't take ourselves too seriously. But yeah, take it seriously. And it kind of goes back and forth of like, when am I supposed to care? And then some awards, like you said, they just breeze through them. It's like, were we supposed to care about any of those people? Right. Like, I don't care about esports, but there's people out there who do care about esports and probably were like, oh, you did half the esports people in the pre-show.
And they will never fully respect the Game Awards' potential because of that.
Because they all are caring about, like, I think this much more caters to, like, video games are art. Video games are, like, is the same level as movies. Fuck the Oscars, ha ha ha, all that. But then, like,
same time, the Oscars don't show constant commercials for stuff either.
They have performances and whatnot. But it's just funny they go with that, but then, like, you're missing out on a whole big chunk of people, like, in China and whatnot. How many people are, like, esports is huge there. Trying to reach a bigger audience, you'd think that maybe you want to, like, hype that up a little more. Yeah, we don't give a shit about that, but there's someone out there who does, and I think you can do both. But my main issue is I think it's too damn long in general, and they need to find a way to cut it down to, like, under 3 hours. Because it was... I watched the Twitch VOD, including the pre-show, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's people who paid money or whatever, got invited, whatever, to this thing, and they have to sit there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I go to baseball games that have lasted 3.5 hours, and even in the seventh, I'm like...
Their argument will be the Oscars are also hella long as well, but
There's also
it's
so many
just
more movies that come out, and
the commercials always get me, and I get it. The Oscars is going to have commercials too. It's aired on television, and they need the same level of breaks that the Game Awards has, but it just feels less. I don't want to say respectable or official. I don't know what I want to say. It hits differently when you are presenting awards for games that are already out. You have an award called Best Anticipated Game, which is literally just who had the best advertisement
Elden Ring
so far.
Again, and he even made a joke about it. It's like, you're literally making fun of your own credibility of this award.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but at the same time, I also see what you're saying.
Like, it's like,
I feel like it's
this is the most hype award. Just call it that. Just call it what it is.
Exactly. But you have world premieres that feel like that are advertisements, let alone actual advertisements. And in the ways that you sometimes talk about your awards, they're either advertisements or just non-existent feeling. They don't even say some of the nominees' names for the ones that they just breeze through. They don't say the names.
Here are the awards for most blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the winner is blah. Congrats.
And then the basketball lady will mispronounce one of these anime games wrong, and then that's all people will complain about online.
And it's like not her fault, because probably no one told her, hey, this is how you pronounce it.
People, like, I mean, I say good for you for trying to get out of the WNBA, which probably does not respect you or pay you very well, into getting into a career that might. But nope, she said Genshin Impact, whatever.
Yeah. Also, by the way, everyone knows this, but just don't watch any Twitch or YouTube and have the chat open. Just don't. Don't make my.
Oh god, no, I didn't do that.
Because once a black person shows up, y'all want to be fucking racist pieces of shit.
Damn. No, we did not have that up. I was streaming my reactions to it,
and
also, I'm not the type of person that goes crazy. But we did not have chat open
that
for
Twitch,
that reason.
Huge shock that Twitch doesn't. Who sponsored the fucking thing?
Yeah,
has no moderation in the Game Awards chat. Yeah, sure, the Game Awards maybe should have hired some moderators as well. But Twitch, you're sponsoring the fucking thing, and
they didn't have any mods.
I didn't notice any when I looked. It was literally people being like, using the classic racist thing to do on Twitch was like, oh, use that one black guy's face every time a black person shows up on screen, or during or people doing Resident Sleeper and shit when any like the stuff they did about diversity in gaming. Like, we wouldn't have to do this shit if y'all weren't fucking pathetic people. Like, they did I did have like a note, like they did Spawn on me. Khalif James there. I guess his name, right? Khalif James.
Khalif Adams.
Khalif Adams, sorry. I've been following him for a year or two now. And like the one episode that he talked about in that little break that they did with him, like I watched that and it was very moving and very important. And he does a lot of good shit. And like we should be like hyping up these people, because there isn't many these kind of people in the industry, you know. And the fact that, Grant, I know not everyone who maybe enjoyed that, maybe there's a majority of us, but it doesn't feel that way when you have people like in the chat just saying dumb shit and being racist or just toxic in general. And then, you know, they want to, I think it's the only reason why it's hard for me to take this seriously when there's like all this. And then you have the big issue of, we don't have to go too deep into it, but the whole Activision thing, everyone knows. He didn't even say it. But on top of that, you also have the whole show sponsored by Amazon, who literally 2 days later forced people to work in a fucking warehouse at a tornado.
Killed people,
Killed people, and they knew the tornado was coming. So I don't want to hear no fucking excuses. So if anyone, like, I just feel like it felt very like, I don't know, maybe I'm being super negative, but it just felt like I really am trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, but at moments it just feels like,
for me, it
feels like commercial fest.
Yeah.
Care about some things and not care about others. And I'm not saying this is on Jeff Keighley.
No one went on stage and said anything about that.
Like, because it wasn't just Jeff Keighley. It could have been any of the people who won awards kind of gone up there and been like, fuck Activision. Also, someone could have went up there and said, also, I think we need to look at who sponsors this show. You know, like, talk about that. Because it's not, you can't just pick one enemy and not look at the bigger picture. They made a hotline. Cool, great. I'll make a hotline for Amazon. Jeff Keighley or any of the other people involved, but they won't, because there's too much sponsorships and they're trying to pay for this. I get it, but it just feels like it just feels a little fake to me at moments, I guess.
For me, what it feels, ham-fisted to open up with not naming any names, just talk about, you gotta stop hate, stop aggression, blah, 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 blah. And then your second trailer or whatever is for a David Cage game.
Yeah, Star Wars was
it
all
just,
hype, and then it was like, let's say Quantic Dream, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, as soon as I'm like...
the first 15 minutes of him literally saying it, too. It would have been one thing if it was at the end, right? Like, maybe they sneak it at the end. But it was like within the same 15 minutes. You're writing the script in that moment, being like, okay, this is the part where we're going to say this. And this is when Quantic Dream's going to pop in. Because they orchestrate that. It's not random, So, like, that was just, like, the most, like...
Yeah, no.
And I like the show. I do. And I'm glad that we can get hyped about trailers, because I have a couple here that I want to talk about. Some of my favorite, like, moments in this awards, like, in terms of trailers. And maybe, like, some of the, I guess, shockers of awards. But like I said, it doesn't feel like I should really care too much about who wins these awards, considering that it seems that they care more about either the game reveals or whatnot. Maybe I think Brian Altano, friend of the show, has tweeted out, like, during the show, he's like, I really think the first half should be game reveals and all that stuff, and the second half should be awards.
Yeah, it needs a structure change. It just does. I mean, granted, whether or not they think that's the case, is their viewership constantly going up? Is their sponsorship dollars constantly going up? Then I guess they probably don't think they need that.
Yeah.
But it feels like, and it's cool. There was cool games shown, and there was cool, like, reveals that happened. I'm excited for some of them.
We got fucking
But
Sonic,
overall,
so it's already a dub.
You know what I mean?
It's already a dub.
Sure.
We had Ben Schwartz.
I lost my train of thought, but I don't know, just for me overall, it's like, well, this doesn't feel as respectful and cool as it could be. And considering, like, it feels like, besides maybe this year, every year Jeff Keighley talks about how video games are the greatest art form and how we're here to celebrate and really honor and blah, blah, blah. And he always says this every year. Because I didn't really notice it this year. If you really believe that, well, present the awards in a way that are a little bit better. One more thing, too, that I noticed, and this was a sign for me, as he's talking about his don't be hateful, we need to stop. His voice is slightly cracking, as if he's, like, trying to be, like, whether it's intentional or not, whether it is genuine or not, the, like, I am this emotionally invested in what I'm saying, and I'm getting a little angry as I'm saying it, but I'm trying to hold it in, that type of voice kind of cracking. He does that as he's going through, and he talks about, and how, says something about how we approach the future of gaming, and he instantly segues into, and what a great future it is, and we're going to be showing you that future tonight, and blah, 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 and, like, very quiet in the audience. It was not the reaction he expected. He was expecting, like, claps and cheers, and he went from sounding like there was something to kind of what he was saying to just, and now we're in advertisement mode. We're gonna have a great show, folks. Like, you need, like, a... With that being said, I'd like to talk about why we're actually here type of thing, but it's that segue straight into, like, it's I don't know. That felt, when I saw that, I'm like, oh no. And then when Quantic Dream's logo popped up, I'm like, oh no. Why don't you just have fucking Bobby Cotta come out and just jerk off on stage? You know what I mean? If you're really going to go for the whole, we don't actually believe what we're saying.
Yeah. Or even, like, like I said, it could have been someone else who needed to say it, too. Maybe someone needs to take one for the team who has the credibility to take one for the team, like Reggie.
Oh, my God. If Reggie did it, honest to God, that would have been...
Because people love him.
Like,
people love him.
People love Reggie. Jeff loves Reggie. Reggie loves Jeff. You could tell on that stage there, as he was talking candidly a little bit, like, it's like how many years it was, and you could hear Jeff's, like, shouting off stage. Yeah. 8. It's 8 years. You know what I mean? There's something there. Fucking say something. I remember the year Disco Elysium won an award, and Reggie shoot them off when they started talking about Karl Marx. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I didn't find
oh my God. It was like someone took a shit on stage. He was, like, sweeping them off as quick as he could. That was Reggie. But no, I mean, like, no one wants to say anything because no one wants to not be invited next year. Konami will never be there again, and Kojima shamed them for not letting his favorite person get on stage. But he won't say anything about Activision?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Activision's fucking loaded. And at the time, when he said that about Konami, Konami was exiting gaming. They weren't actually going to even be there because they wouldn't have had anything to show. You know what I mean? That wouldn't
Kinda
have
like
been the
kicking a
scene
dead
for them.
horse a little bit,
So it felt
yeah.
safe to shame Konami for not letting Hideo Kojima. They had Kiefer Sutherland accept the award on behalf of the team for Kojima Productions. That he accepted because they had an award at the time that was like best like studio or something like that, studio work. Kojima Productions won, and Kiefer Sutherland, because he played Snake in that game, that Metal Gear game, came up and you could tell he didn't really know too much besides they work hard. They made something great. He said people recognize me for Snake now, and it's crazy, even though I don't talk in the game at all. You know what I mean? But Jeff Keighley was willing to shame Konami there. Even
I guess
you see that Guillermo del Toro kind of shaming nod at Konami too with Silent Hill. That was definitely like you dropped the ball, Konami type of thing. That wasn't a tease or I'm excited. That was still fuck you.
Yeah, and
so
then
if he's
I
willing to let that
liked
stuff
when,
in the show.
That's one thing I did write down that like I thought it was funny though when he was like, "Oh, that was the best trailer since Death Stranding." Like I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was cute, but like yeah, but then like okay, we don't need to like we get it. But I guess that wouldn't be an award show, I guess, without some sort of drama. You had Kanye and Taylor Swift how many years ago that was, and you
True.
know, or Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper singing on stage, and it seemed weirdly sexual.
I'll take that.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, whatever. I mean, that's what happens in like when you have a million people, not a million people, but a lot of people who want their toes in the pool. You know what I mean? So, whatever. I mean, we're still gonna probably watch it. We'll still come crawling back to watch all the game reveals. But before we go into like anything we really liked. Sorry for being negative, but I think we just needed to get that off our chest. But 'cause I know a lot of people were thinking the same way. I think, unless we're crazy, maybe we're negative Nancy's. I don't know. Before we get into like things we like, I will say that like I watched it live up until the Sonic trailer, and that's when I had a dip.
Okay. I watched it live from the actual start of the real show onwards. Right after Sting did his musical thing.
Yeah,
onwards.
I just wanted to say
me.
that so like. You can see maybe how we're agreeing on things despite watching it, I guess, in different ways. I had to watch extra commercials because I had the Twitch VOD, and every 10 minutes it showed me the same
true.
Toyota commercial or maybe occasional go to this college. I'm like, I already graduated. Thank you.
Yeah, but you can. There's
still more.
Always more money to give. Yeah, starting January 31st, you can enjoy paying again. Aren't you happy?
Honestly, that's what
Midterms
they
are
should
coming
have
out, but
done
sure.
at the Game Awards. And been like, and we're canceling all your student loan debt.
Yeah, we'd like to announce our surprise guest, President Joe Biden.
And he
Jack.
goes out there and he's like, I'm going to cancel all your student loan debt. Holy shit.
But he tries to do some like really lame segue from whatever was shown, and that Sonic trailer looked great.
He's like,
You know what else looks great?
I remember
Jack?
that when he came out. I was in the Senate.
Oh my god. Get the fuck out of here, Joe Biden. And anyone, honestly. Anyone, just get the fuck out of here. Cancel student debt. Send another stimulus check.
Send me a fucking Sonic early.
Send me a Sonic early. I love their burgers. All right, I feel like before we actually end the show, was there any reveals that you were excited about?
A couple here that
I will say overall disappointed there was nothing by Nintendo.
Yeah.
They always did something last year, and I raced home from work to make sure I was there to watch the show from the beginning, because last year they opened with the Sephiroth and Smash Brothers thing, so I'm like, there could be something I like at the very beginning. I need to get there right away. Nothing Nintendo. Square has a lot of major things that they need to go through for marketing. So even though they did announce, that they're making more Final Fantasy VII remake sequels and they have Final Fantasy 16, they still have Forspoken to get through its marketing cycle. So I was disappointed that they only showed that and not anything I was interested in. No Kingdom Hearts. Like, there was really nothing I was like, fuck yes, besides what we already knew was going to be there, being Sonic. But I will say, I was shocked and happy that there's an Alan Wake 2 that looks very neat. I want to play the remaster now. Hey, that came out last month or whatever. Good timing. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax The fighting game that was on PS3 and 360 based
Yeah.
off Persona 4, that's coming to PS4, Switch, and PC for the
There we
first
go.
time.
Let's do it.
Excited for that because that's a very fun fighting game by Arc System Works. Guilty Gear Strives people. You want to see a great fighting game they made before they became like world known? Play the Persona 4 fighting game. It feels great. There was like 70 million Warhammer fucking games.
Thank
I made
you.
jokes about
Thank
that on
you.
stream.
Thank you. I feel like every time I'm like,
There was-
this looks cool, then it's like Warhammer. I'm like, bro, I get it.
There was
Y'all
something,
making a
I don't
bunch
know
of
what
shit.
this is. It's probably Warhammer.
Loosely
The Wonder
high
Woman
fantasy,
game looked cool.
Probably Warhammer.
Yeah. The Wonder Woman game looked very cool. They obviously didn't show anything about it, but the fact that it's by the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor and Middle Earth Shadow of War people looks cool. They have their own Nemesis system in those two games. Looks like it's coming to this game, so they say. That was neat. They showed off a character for King of Fighters 15 that looks like it's a reference to an old character, and that's kind of cool for those fans. There's a new beta. I'm going to play the beta. What else did they show? Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to PC in like a couple days. Cool. The Suicide Squad trailer actually looked interesting, but I still think that's an online multiplayer thing, so I don't know. Those were really for me. The Silent Hill creators' new game, Slitterhead,
Yeah, I had that one written down.
looks dope. So you tell me your stuff.
First note I had is Thirsty Suitors, because I just thought that was a funny title. Where I don't even remember what the premise was. I'm trying to remember now because it was the first thing I saw. But it wasn't it? I think you were like you're chasing down potential partners or something, but you're fighting people. I don't know. It was just weird, but like it looked goofy.
Yeah.
So I wrote that one down. Obviously, the Star Wars Eclipse, which I was like, oh, interesting. And then I saw David Cage, and I'm like, I'm gonna boycott that one. I just wrote down Dave and Gata over there, which because Dave is they're both from the show Dave, which I like, and I'm like, and it honestly felt like a clip from an episode, their little bit that they did, so I thought that was interesting that they had them there. And they're calling it PC Game Pass, which I'm like, cool, that's something I'd be actually like really interested in, because I've been like on the fence of like getting Game Pass. Do I get the Ultimate Game Pass? Do I get what? And if they're making one just for PC,
I think it's just a rebrand in the name, but
oh, is it? I don't know.
yeah, because it was just called Xbox Game Pass for PC. Now it's just called PC Game Pass.
Oh,
So
I don't know. So it shows how much I guess I looked into it. The one I've always wanted to do a tower defense game with folks, and there was that Nightingale tower defense game.
Lumia, that's what Fortnite originally was.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, and I'm like, don't turn into a battle royale, please. So I'm genuinely interested in that. We'll see when it comes out. There's that Gollum game, and I'm like, what?
Ooh, that feels like that was announced like a decade ago. His character model looks terrible.
His head's big. He's like a bobblehead.
Yeah, it's weird. No one wants to play as a Gollum. You know what I mean? Give me an Aragorn game before you make Gollum.
Legolas, even Gimli.
Because yeah,
bro.
there was like in the
Gandalf.
PS2 era, there was Lord of the Rings games.
Yeah, and they were good.
I had the Hobbit game. You know, I think I rented Lord of the Rings 3.
Yeah, I
but,
had that
like,
one. PS2.
Now give me you had your Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor stuff. That was its own thing. But if you're going to tie into the movies and the books, give me an Aragorn game. Give me a Legolas game. Give me a game where I'm fucking Gandalf.
Dude, the fucking Ent. I'd rather be an Ent than Gollum.
Exactly.
I'd rather be a walking tree. Yeah, I had to write that one down, so I was like, what? There's that game called Tachia, which looks like I wrote as a better Breath of the Wild.
I think it's called Chai.
Chaya.
I think it's pronounced Chai.
Better Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that PlayStation has its marketing in that. They've shown it off at their stuff.
And then I don't know anything about this, but I think it's also related to Warhammer, I believe. Or no, I don't remember now. I just remember the subtitle, Space Marine 2.
That's a Warhammer
But it looked
thing.
It looked goofy, so I'm like, maybe if I'm gonna get into Warhammer, I'll try that one.
Okay. Clearly, the biggest game that was announced there, Among Us VR.
I was almost there. Yeah, Among Us VR, which I will. If I had a VR headset, I would totally try that out.
It's coming to PlayStation VR. I'll give it a shot.
Let me know. I don't know how that skill's gonna work without it being disorienting.
I'll try to stream it. I feel like my setup is able to stream PSVR, at least from a PlayStation 4. I can't get it to work on
And
PS5.
the other question I have is, can you do it? Can you play in VR and play with people who don't have VR? Because
I don't know how it works.
I'm assuming you would have
What's
to do
your player base like if everyone's in VR? It's like, what, 80 people?
Yeah, exactly. Good luck finding a game with all VR.
Yeah.
Unless it's like 5 people in the lobby, but that's not fun. Dude, Dune Spice Wars? I mean, come on.
I had no idea what that was until, like...
As soon as he saw...
I think someone
we
said
run
Spice.
Like I said, we run on Desert Power. I'm like, oh, it's Dune. It's Dune. I probably won't play it, but I like the Dune movies, so I'm all about Dune. Whatever. It's an RTS, so...
Interesting.
One game gave me Nier vibes. Steel Rising.
Oh.
With the weird, like, puppet metal woman, but, like, the enemies kind of remind me of, like, the carnival
I thought that
dudes
was
in Nier Automata.
Really? To me, I thought that was a game that was already announced. There was a Pinocchio Bloodborne-looking game.
It definitely looks weird
that was this
in a cool way.
This is apparently like French Revolution, but it looks a lot like a Dark Soulsborne thing.
Last two here. Metal Hellsinger. It's gonna be like a combat. They said like it was gonna be like a musical combat game. That has like a bunch of metal singers, like from Ginger and Lamb of God. So I'm like, cool. Dying Light 2 finally got a release date.
Okay.
And I've been like watching that game, I swear to God, for like 3 years. Because I remember people liked the first one, but it had its issues.
Yeah.
But people have been hyped for the second one. I know they did a beta at one point, I'm pretty sure. For like a select, you had to like get into the beta.
Okay.
I remember watching people play it, I'm like, okay, this looks cool. Something up my alley a little bit. And like, we're finally getting a trailer next year. Or we're getting the game next year. We got a trailer to say next year. But I'm interested in that game. And I'm like, cool. Got a release date. Forgot you existed. But we got a release date.
Right. Just like the Gollum game, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, but overall, those are my games that I...
You got your Cuphead DLC.
I haven't beat the game. That game fucked me. So I gave up. I dropped out when I liked the game.
Okay.
Because I knew, I'm like, if I keep going, I'm going to wind up hating this game and not appreciate it. So I left, and I'm not going back. So good for people who are into Cuphead a lot and are good at video games. Congrats, you got your DLC. I thought it was going to be a sequel, to be honest. I did like their little number that they did with the singers there.
Cuphead and, what's the game? It's like a Metroidvania Souls-like 2D. Beloved. The DLC has been talked about forever is called Silk Song, but the actual name of the game itself,
I don't know.
Oh my god, why isn't this coming to
Star
me?
Wars.
I haven't played it.
Star Trek.
Although I own it.
There was a Star Trek game, VR game.
No. Regardless, Cuphead and this other game, were both like obviously super beloved indie games, also extremely challenging. They announced a big DLC thing, and it's been forever since. I think this Silk Song, this other game that has the DLC called Silk Song, that's becoming just a standalone sequel, I'm pretty sure. So I think people thought the same thing for Delicious Last Course. But
like Among Us 2.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a sequel, and the first game
and
just
they
got bigger.
it.
And they're like, yeah, you know what? We're good.
Yeah. I want to briefly talk about the awards, at least the things that we liked or were surprised about. I will say, I think it's no surprise that Nier Replicant won Best Score in Music.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a given, even though like some of the other games probably had good music. I was surprised that Deathloop won Best Game Direction over the other ones in there. I was happy that Best Action Game went to Returnal. Best Action Adventure Game went to Metroid Dread, which I was very happy that game won something, because I wasn't expecting it, honestly, to win, because it's a Switch game, so it doesn't look visually as cool as any of the other stuff. It doesn't have a big story. It just has solid-ass gameplay, and it was so unique. I talked about that last episode. So to see it win Best Action Adventure, and have the president of Nintendo America come up and almost advertise the game in his acceptance speech for it. It was at least nice to see. But Game of the Year went to It Takes Two. Now I feel like I need to play that game. Maybe we need to play it.
I've seen people play it. It looks like cute fun. All I know about the game is like it's about two parents, potentially going through a divorce or going to be divorced, and like it's kind of like them trying to find love again, and like all for like their because their one kid or whatever is like isn't aware of the situation because they're like 5 from what I saw the beginning part of the game, and I saw the crazy bookman who talks crazy. It looks like something I think would be fun to try out, and I think it has online co-op, so I think we could easily do it. But
if you buy a copy of the game, it gives you a free code for essentially of the game, but it requires the person that actually paid for it to play with you. Like there's a free thing that you can download to play it, but you need to be paired with someone that bought it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just like their last game too. A Way Out was also requires co-op, so it essentially gave you 2 copies of the game in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I guess co-op game is one, because I feel like we don't get many co-op games like that anymore, just in general.
Yeah.
Compared to like
it's cool to see
our era
one of those
when we were kids, because we didn't have access to
playing
online.
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, and that kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was surprised and happy it won. Obviously, the cynic in me can say, "Oh, one of Jeff Keighley's favorite people won." Of course, but
yeah,
if that ever came out and was true that his opinions were rigging the awards, he'd be fucking done.
I know,
you know what I mean. So it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I feel like it would have leaked, to be honest.
Exactly.
Ratchet and Clank didn't win anything,
right? Which I was surprised, and I felt like that was a shoo-in for something.
One of the
you know what I mean? That's why I'm just happy Metroid won.
I think it was in like 3 awards. Like I thought it would win one of them.
It was in a bunch. But yeah, no, it didn't win anything.
Maybe everyone assumed like it was going to win. Would. So like no one voted for it.
That sucks. I feel like how sometimes it works because again, most of the votes come from outlets, and then there's a fan vote that takes like 12% or something that affects it, right? I feel like as far as outlets go, people are smart. People know things that should win awards, and they know that some games deserve to win something, so that they kind of be like, okay, Metroid, we'll vote for Metroid for best action adventure. And I feel like that's the way we'll vote for Returnal for best action game, because Returnal was in a couple things as well. Wasn't going to win anything really else.
Split it Let's around try to, a little bit, you know.
But then, yeah, something that feels like an obvious shoe-in loses.
I think it's because everyone does the whole, like, we need to spread this out a little bit. Like, everyone's going to pick Ratchet, so I'm going to give a vote to this. And then everyone winds up doing that. Like, their second choice wins.
That game, there is so much, like, it is such a triple-ass game, like, visually and just mechanically and everything about it, that I'm surprised. But, speaking about surprises, I was surprised that Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy won Best Narrative.
They even
and then I saw a clip today on Twitter of like a later cutscene or just conversation, because I'm sure there's choices and stuff, because this is the team that made the Deus Ex games, so it's like that same kind of influence there. And I'm like, okay, I see it. This isn't doing there's no stilted dialogue in this. There's no like it. I can see it. So I was surprised, but cool. Deathloop winning stuff surprised me in general.
I heard it was just like all right. Like
I'm having a lot of fun
with
it,
average,
but I haven't played
but
too
like
much.
not like holy shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we've seen with other games. I think overall though this year was, I think in terms of you don't have the big hitters as opposed to last year, which is kind of cool, I guess, because
they've gone. Yeah, if looking at the last 5, 2017 was gigantic. 2018 was pretty damn big. 2019, light. 2020, big. 2021, light.
And I'm curious now, because COVID, we're going to start seeing the real big impact of that, like how much light stuff.
Now, granted, 2022 is going to have Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon,
I still say
Zelda,
God of War
apparently
coming out next year.
Probably not. As well as a few other big things that I can't remember off the top of my head. So, like, next year is going to have things, whether they're good or not. storied things are going to be in there. I also don't think Zelda's going to be next year either.
I mean, Sonic is going to easily take...
And Sonic, right?
I don't think that'll count for if it comes out in December, because I think the cutoff is... I mean, I guess Halo Infinite is going to be up.
Halo Infinite was in for...
I think the multiplayer was... Not the story, because the reviews didn't even come out until like early. I think literally the same day as the Game Awards.
Something like that. Yeah. Just crazy. So I think this has been fun. I enjoy talking about the Game Awards with you. Our complaints, our praise, our hopes for the future. We talked a lot about a lot of stuff, and I'm tired. So we're gonna call this episode. Thank you, Devin. I had a lot of fun. If you agree with some of the things that we said about the Game Awards, and more importantly, in my opinion, if you're as hyped about the Sonic movie and game as we are, let us know on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. We're also on TikTok under the same handle. I am on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely, and Devin is on Twitter at Cursona Fun. Let us know what you think about those things. We will see you next week for I'm Thinking Something Cheery and Short. Bye.
Bye.